Hey guys, what's going on? Herman here, and in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the fastest method to learning how to dance salsa. Anyone can learn, even if you have two left feet. I get asked a lot by my students or by people who want to learn how to dance salsa. Hey, what's the fastest way? How many lessons do I need in order to get good at dancing salsa, or in order to feel comfortable enough to get a couple of moves and then be able to go out into the dance floor? How many lessons do I need? And so, you know, when I started dancing, I used to go to a salsa school that if they had in their syllabus, they expected you to feel comfortable enough to dance about 6 months into it. That was their claim. They're like, if you stick with it and if you come a lot, and in 6 months, like that's when people feel ready to go out to a salsa social. And I thought to myself, for a long time, I'm like, okay, 6 months. That's how long it should take for somebody to be able to feel comfortable and learn how to dance. But a lot of people right now, they want quick results, they want fast something, so they don't want to spend 6 months learning how to dance. They want it now. And so, but I had that in my head. But anyway, now I have a method that I could teach somebody in the fastest way possible. I teach them like in a couple of hours, I could get them out on the dance floor and be able to dance. But before I tell you about that, I want to give you guys the backstory about how I started teaching and about where this method came from. So when I first started teaching, I had been dancing for over almost 4 years, and I was really passionate about dancing. I knew, I felt comfortable dancing myself. I had probably gone out thousands of hours. I've been going out, I probably between practicing and dancing and the YouTube videos, I probably logged in thousands of hours, just 1,000 or 2,000 hours, because I was really into salsa dancing, and I would spend every moment just diving really deep into learning and really becoming better myself. And so I started becoming a teacher, and I got a few students, and immediately what I did was I've been learning all this stuff, and I want to teach this awesome things that I've been learning to my students. And so I would teach I would teach my classes what I thought was awesome, and I would teach them all these complicated moves, and students would have a lot of fun in class. They're like, oh my god, wow, this is really intricate. You're teaching all of this fancy moves to us, and I thought I was a superstar. I'm like, yeah, I'm teaching the best things to my students. Nobody's teaching this, and also that's how I kind of learned myself. When I took lessons, they teach you all this repertoire of moves, and then little by little things start to stick. So anyway. So that's the mentality that I had. I was really excited. I was a salsa nerd, and I wanted to share my enthusiasm and knowledge with my students. I wanted to show off how an amazing teacher I was, and show them all these cool moves they couldn't get anywhere. And anyway, so I started doing that, and what happened is that after a while, I'm like, all right, I told my students, hey, you guys want to do something cool? Let's go out to the salsa party and let's go try out the moves that I've been teaching you. You guys are going to be amazing. So we would go out, as a group, social dancing. And then when we would get there to the party, I could see my students. I'm they walk in, they see a group of people that are a group of dancers there at the party, everybody's doing their thing, and all of a sudden they start to feel nervous. Oh, okay, all right, I'm about to go up and dance. I'm about to do this. I'm here. And I could see them, and we would be in there 20 minutes into the night, nobody from my students is dancing. Everybody's terrified. And I could see it in their faces. And I'm like, hey guys, why aren't you guys dancing? This is what we came here for. You guys should be out there. And I'm like, hey, here, how about you like start going like grab like go dance with each other or like ask somebody to dance. And then sometimes I literally had to like push them into the dance floor so they would go. And then when they got there, like I could see it in their eyes. They were like they were scared. They were they were just like, all right, when do I start? Like, what do I do? Like, okay, what moves that we learn in class? And like they start to question everything. And all of a sudden, like I could see it that they couldn't do much more than just like one step was the simple step that even the basic step, and even that like they couldn't do it sometimes. And so this started to happen, and I thought like, that's funny. Like in class they were doing awesome. Like why is this happening? And so then like I'm like, okay, like that was just today, that's just those students, like maybe it's a fluke. And I would keep doing the same things that I was doing. I was teaching my students the same way, all these complicated moves. We would go out again and the same thing would happen. Students were not able to dance. They weren't able to like get the moves that I had taught them in class, remember them and go out and dance and feel comfortable, enjoy dance. They weren't able to do that. And I kept on thinking, like, it must be them. It must be the fact that it takes 6 months for people to learn how to dance. And so I thought, like, okay, they're just not being patient enough, and maybe they're not practicing enough, so that's why they're not learning to dance. Like, that's why they're not able to do it right now. It's just part of the learning process. Well, eventually, what would end up happening is that students would get frustrated that they weren't able to dance, and they would start telling me, like, hey, look, I just can't remember the moves when I'm out there. Like, it's hard. Like, I feel like in class I'm able to do the moves, but over here on the dance floor I feel stuck. I feel overwhelmed. Like you taught us all these moves, but I just don't know how to apply them. I forget them. And at first I thought like I dismissed it. I'm like, okay, well it takes 6 months, guys. And then like that happened enough where like the 6 months never came around. Students started to quit. And they started to quit, and they started to quit, and I'm like, at the beginning, I'm like, well, they're just quitters. But then I thought, like, after that happened enough times, I thought to myself, I said, like, well, like, maybe it's not that they're quitters. Maybe they just, like, they don't see that it's possible, so they just end up quitting. I mean, like, so one day I'm thinking about how I could help my students. Like, what if I could learn how to like get them out to the dance floor and make them comfortable and make them be able to like get their first win, like be able to step out on the dance floor, dance and enjoy the dance, and then they will feel better. But like, how can I get them those first wins where they feel comfortable, where they feel like they're enjoying themselves, they're able to take what I'm teaching them and apply them on the dance floor and not feel overwhelmed, not feel like they're not going to be able to make it through, and not feel like they have to wait 6 months until they finally are able to enjoy themselves. And so I sat down with a piece of paper and I wrote down all the moves that I was teaching to my students, everything. So I write down a list of things and I think to myself, like, these are all the moves that I think somebody needs to learn in order to learn how to dance. And I came up with a huge list. And as soon as I saw that, I thought to myself, I'm like, wow, like it clicked. Like there's no way my students were going to learn this huge list of moves. Like it was way too complicated and it was too hard to remember. And so I thought just like, of course, it's obvious, like if I teach them all of this, they're gonna feel overwhelmed, they're not gonna be able to learn how to dance, they're gonna feel stuck on the dance floor, and they're gonna end up quitting. So how can I make it simpler for them to learn how to dance? How can I simplify this process? How can I take those moves? Like, what's the minimum I could teach somebody so that they feel comfortable and they're able to smile when they're out on the dance floor and be able to apply the knowledge that I'm giving them and like get their first taste of what it's like to be able to get out on the dance floor and not have to worry and feel completely confident that they could do it, and at the end of the dance they'll feel like a champion because they are able to do it. And so I took down that list and I started to simplify. I'm like, okay, this moves that are way too complicated, like how can I take that and simplify? Scratch this move. No, they don't need to learn this right at the beginning, right? What is the simplest method that I could teach them? And I started to scratch everything until like I found out the six most common moves that I could teach them that are simple enough so that they can learn in a couple of lessons, if not in like an hour or two, and be able to practice and be able to then go out to the dance floor, apply, and immediately start dancing. And so I narrowed that list down to 6 different moves. And I call it the 6-step formula. Now, for those of you who are thinking to yourself, like 6 moves, that's still a lot of moves. Like, I've been dancing over 10 years. I know hundreds of moves. Like 6 moves is definitely doable. It's something that you could take in, like maybe not like in an hour, but you could take just a couple of hours to learn those 6 moves and immediately start dancing with somebody. And so I got excited. I wrote down the 6 moves, and at the beginning I went back, and the next day, I started to teach this. At first, I started to teach it to private lesson students because I had the one-on-one opportunity. I'm like, all right, let me use them as the guinea pigs. So I started teaching them the 6 moves, and immediately, within like a class or two, a lesson or two, like boom, they were able to start dancing with the 6 moves. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Okay. I taught it to the next person and to the next person. And the same thing started to happen. They started to become better, but fast, way faster. Not 6 months, but just in a couple of lessons, they were able to learn the 6 moves, and they felt, it started to become funny because all the people, like, they learned the 6 moves and they're like, all right, like, this is awesome. I'm able to dance now. I'm like, what's next? I'm like, you just don't know that you're now able to dance, and it didn't take you 6 months to learn. You learned 6 moves, and now you're able to get out on the dance floor and dance. Like, that's awesome. And so then I took the class, and I took my classes and I simplified what I was teaching, and I just now teach my students in my beginner classes the 6 moves, and that's all I teach, because now I see, like, immediately they start getting instant results. And now we go to parties, and the people who learn the 6 moves are now able to get out on the dance floor. They're no longer stuck. It's just 6 moves. It's not that hard to remember. It's simple enough that you could pull it off, and it's easy enough to remember when you're out there under pressure. You're like, oh my god, like everybody's amazing, but you can still have the mental capacity. You're like, okay, I can remember 6 moves. And then immediately, like, students started applying it on the dance floor. They started feeling a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable. They started getting those first wins, and they started feeling a lot better. And now students were excited to learn more and become better. And now they are actually sticking through the process and sticking through and learning more moves and actually spending more time during the classes. But it was because they started to learn those 6 moves, and then they were able to apply it, they got the confidence, and then they were able to feel better about themselves, and now they saw that there was a possibility. They didn't have to left feet, they were not hopeless. The method that I was teaching them was way too complicated and too hard to remember. And so that's how I came up with that list of 6 moves. That's the fastest way of learning how to dance. You need a method that is simple enough for you to remember, and simple enough for you to do it, and easy enough to remember. So if you guys want to learn more about this 6-step formula, and I have a course that I put together with one of my dance partner, my girlfriend, and together we put this course for you to help you out, beginners who are struggling with dancing, or beginners who are completely new, no dance experience, that you can learn these 6 moves and be able to apply them and start dancing immediately. So I'm going to put the link to the 6 moves down below to a course that I teach. It's an online course that is going to walk you by the hand through the 6 moves so that you can learn how to do them, and you can start dancing immediately. Okay, so if you're excited for that, leave me a comment down below. if you're in a position for where you're a beginner and you want to learn, I'm going to post a link down below. Go check that out. And looking forward to seeing you guys soon. Again, keep practicing, keep learning. If you want to learn more about salsa, more salsa content for all levels or beginners, if you know anybody that needs to hear this video, send them over this way. Leave this video a thumbs up. Subscribe here for more free salsa tutorials, and see you guys soon. Thank you so much for listening.